The Dark Realm is a difficult place to live. Plants grow weakly and twisted in the lack of sunlight. Mercenary work and banditry are rife, as it pays more than basic farming or hunting. The realm at large is ruled over from the great city of Guardia, an overpopulated, sinful place ruled over by a baleful king that we haven't seen in years. There is an elven kingdom to the south, ruled by the sequestered shadow elves, a dwarven kingdom lost to the mountains of the west, and a tiefling kingdom among the volcanic rock of the islands in the north. Great patches of our land are poisoned and deserted. There are tribal villages, beasts, goblins, and orc warbands, of course, but we're trapped here. The mists are a mystery. Most who enter them never return. Those that do are changed in such a way that they are unrecognizable or utterly insane. Nothing comes out of the mist, but it surrounds us, calls out, poisons, frightens. Couple that with the almost endless darkness, and the Dark Realm is a very difficult place to live.
Oi, look sharp. Here they come. 3 of them on the west.
Looks like 3 and a child.
Right, well, we'll wait for them to pass and follow. Stay out of sight until they sleep, or they find themselves in a spot of trouble.
Wait, that's not a child. That's a gnome.
A gnome? Borrow will love that. Right. Let's bring in that gnome alive.
The clapping bandit and his comrades reveal themselves to you as 3 large crossbow bolts whistle past your ears, and as all of your eyes adjust in this darkness, you see these figures. Some of you can see 1, some of you can see 2, some of you don't see any, depending on where you're stood. But you know there to be 3 speakers. You heard 3 voices. If you can see one, you can see that they are very large. Too large to be human, but not large enough for full-blooded orcs. They are half-orcs. Pale grey-green skin, each one holding a very large, heavy crossbow in 2 hands. Their armor and cloaks befit that of scouts, and you will recognize that the one that you can see bears a tattoo that you recognize, a sort of strange blended thing of a lion and a snake. Fix, you created an illusory wall of fire before them. Merlin and Fire take cover behind a rock, and Will stands behind a shield. What are you guys doing?
Crossbows take a second to reload, right?
You can hear the kind of wind of a crossbow as they reload beyond wherever you guys are stood.
Alright. I would, if I can, I'd like to take a second and just talk to the rest of the team.
Yeah.
If we can use that moment to do it.
You absolutely can.
So we don't all die. Okay. I'm just gonna turn around to face Merlin and Fire specifically and say, we're surrounded, all right? Listen to me if you want to live. Merlin, can you do that fog thing again?
Yeah, I could try.
Okay, do that. Don't blind us. Cover yourselves. Stay behind the rock, all right? Keep your head down. Fire, If you duck in and out of it, you should be able to hit them when they can't see you. Fix, we try to draw their attention. Stay behind me, okay? And stay flat, low to the ground. You understand?
Got it.
Alright. And I'm just gonna, well...
Then there's a... You can hear these voices shouting to one another. There's one that's ahead of where you are, Fix. Your sort of illusory spell is just a small thing, right? Just a kind of quick image that you conjure up. But beyond that, you can hear the voice of one of them say, "Right then, move up slowly. They should be hurt." Merlin, it is your turn in the turn order. You are looking pretty beaten up as well.
Yeah,
As
got
a
nasty
reminder,
boo-boos.
you are covered in bug bites and stings and small lacerations and wounds. What do you do?
Well, I'm gonna do just as Will asked. I'm gonna do another fog cloud, but this time on them. If I can, do I have a good eye? Well, I can only hope I can get at least 2 of them, maybe. Can I get 2 of them with my fog cloud? All right, well, I'll try and get 1 at least. Okay, so I'm gonna use fog cloud, and I'm gonna use it on the one that I can more or less make out on. That's behind the rock.
Can I discern where Merlin is pointing?
Oh no, you don't want it that direction?
You can.
Yeah,
You
if I
see
see-
Merlin kind of crawling on all fours, and he's got blood running down the side of his face, and you see him begin to incant one way, then he turns his book upside down, and then begins incanting again, but it sounds like he's speaking backwards, and then he turns it upside down again. He kind of looks a little
No,
concussed and beat up.
Merlin, right here
No,
on the rock.
no,
Cover us,
Right. Oh, us.
so they can't
okay.
see us with their
Oh,
bows.
okay. And Bo just unleashes the fog cloud and hopefully surrounds everybody. Sorry, this one might smell a bit.
Oh yes, I forgot that that's how you do that. Yes, there's a
They don't just come out of thin air, you know.
yeah, it doesn't smell great, but there is a fog that spreads around. So you're doing it, centering it on yourself, Merlin.
Yes.
All right, I will bring in a general area of fog cloud, and that would be your action. You can still move, and
Yeah, I'm gonna stay right where I am.
is this 20 feet across? Your fog cloud, how big does it say it is?
Yeah, 20.
20? 20, 20, so it's about that. All right,
Oh,
so
dang
you
it,
guys
right.
become fully obscured in this fog cloud, making it very difficult for anyone to see you within the dark and then within the fog itself. But it's also difficult for you to see each other. Fire and Merlin, you can maybe make out each other very close. Will, you become lost in this fog as well. And you ending your turn?
Yeah, my turn's done here.
All right, brings us to you, Fix.
I will. They're not engaged with me, are they? So I can move freely for now.
Yep.
So I move here. And then I will Eldritch Blast this one.
Your spell here, was this a full silent image or just a sort of cantrip?
That is full silent image.
Okay.
Yeah, full silent image. Yep. So Eldritch Blast.
And then your Eldritch Blast is a 12. That is a hit, I believe. Which one are you aiming at? The one in the bottom left.
Yep, bottom left.
Okay. They have, just in case you wanted to mention which one you're attacking, they do have names now, but they also have a little dot on them that's colored, so green, blue, and then the other one has red. So if you want to reference them that way, just because sometimes when there's 3 of the same token, it's easier to do that. Yes, Eldritch Blast hits. Give me the damage roll. Wow.
Spicy.
12. Nice. I guess as you're moving, you move into the edge of this fog cloud. Are you trying to kind of get inside the fog or just to the edge of it?
Just on the edge.
There's like probably like a little sonic boom in this fog as this forceful magic is launched from your hand. You hear a grunt, a sort of deep grunt from somewhere in the distance. You see that on the edge of your visions, the relatively, probably the largest of the three of these, loading his crossbow is hit. He stumbles backwards and kind of spins on the spot a little bit before bringing his crossbow up. But that was a nice hit. 12 damage. Start off. Is there anything else you're doing on your turn?
And then I will drop prone immediately.
Okay, prone. Brings us to you, Fire.
Okay. Is this a stream here to my right?
It is,
Or is
yeah.
it just... Okay, would I be able to, like, hop over that?
Yeah, it doesn't
Or-
cost you anything to move over it.
Okay. Then
Very
I'm going
low.
to... I'm just gonna go right here. Is that the edge? Can I be there and see
Yeah.
the blue man? Okay, I'm gonna take a shot at the blue man.
Okay.
My short bow, 17.
A 17 is absolutely a hit. Yeah, give me damage.
Okie doke. Oh, I don't get
Five.
sneak attack, do I? No. Wait, yes I do. Do I?
Are you in the
don't-
fog firing out?
I wanted to be on the very edge, so I'm obscured but able to hit him. But I don't know if that's even possible.
You're either in
It
or
might
out.
have to be one or the other. Huh?
You could hide first. You have bonus
Oh.
action hide. Like
I could,
hide and then shoot.
if Brad allows it.
You can do that.
Okay, I'll do that then.
That is every rogue all time.
Yeah.
Yes. Fine. I'll allow it this once. But if you
8.
ever do it again, I probably will
dies.
allow it again. So yes, this arrow flies true. There's a moment that you kind of pop out of this fog, see the person, sight them, duck down again into the obscured fog. There's also a rock, don't forget, that Merlin is kind of behind. That's about here. So that was providing Merlin with a little extra AC. You send one of these arrows out, hits this guy, perfect. Another grunt from in the distance as this half-orc bandit scout is hit for 11. Another nice hit. And I presume that's the end of your turn unless you want to move somewhere more.
I'm gonna move back to where I was.
All right. Will.
I am going to move here, directly in front of Fix. And I'm not 100% sure how you rule it, but can I provide her partial cover by standing in the way?
No, because she's not small.
Gotcha.
There are
Well, in that
certain
case-
creatures that have that ability, so it would be unfair in case you roll up a halfling.
Or
As a
gnome,
backup
actually,
character.
now that I think about it.
I wonder, yeah, I assume that gnomes can potentially do it as well. I can't remember if it's a racial trait or a size trait, though.
Okay.
But for now,
In that
no,
case-
no, I'm afraid you cannot.
Right, I will stand in front of her then and take the dodge action. And which one of them was it that did the slow clap and said he was going to take my sword?
It sounded like the one that you are unable to see right now. That's kind of off in the distance in this direction.
All right, if I can't see him clearly, then I'm probably not going to say anything. But I'll address this guy instead and yell at him and say, "Come over here, so I can feed you that crossbow," and then end my turn.
Roll me an intimidation check. 14. He, recovering from being hit by this Eldritch Blast, he looks over and says,
It would be a nice snack before I eat your little gnome friend.
and that's the end of your turn?
Correct.
There is a smaller half-orc that kind of moves into range up here. Seems to be kind of trying to get around this fire that is creating a line across the field there. As he moves around, you can see that he's got his crossbow pointed at you, Fix. And if this wants to roll, he is going to fire his crossbow in at you. And you're on the edge, so you're not in the fog fully.
But I am prone.
You are prone, so he has disadvantage anyway. Boom. 6. Another, as it kind of lands in the fog near where you are. You guys probably don't see it actually hit the ground, but you hear the sound of it. Does anybody speak Orcish?
I do not.
I don't think anyone does.
Nobody?
No, I don't.
You hear him shout across the field down towards the one towards the south, saying, North Bundesh! Apoy! Haha! And you then see the figure that was that you were goading to run towards you actually do that. He comes running in, but that is his entire turn. As he runs up towards you, you see him drop that crossbow and bring out a mace. There is another shot with disadvantage coming in towards you, Fire. You're in the fog behind a rock, so you have +2 to your AC on top of this disadvantage. 13.
Nope.
Another, as it flies so high above where you are. Bringing us to Merlin.
Alright, well now that I've got eyes on the one near Will, I'm immediately going to cast Firebolt on him.
Firebolt. Yes. Give me. This we need to fix. And I've just remembered there was something we needed to fix last week as well on someone's sheet, and I can't remember whose it was. I think it was yours as well. So roll me a d20 plus. Can't remember what your. It's not loading. Let me click this. 7. That is a 10, which is a miss. But how does this look? I don't think we've seen you cast this yet.
Yeah, no, I think this is the first time we've seen Merlin cast Firebolt, so he probably clasps his hands together, like rubbing them together, and then he just emits fire from them. And, well, I guess because he's so caught off guard and nervous, he misses, and he just kind of cowers back and hides behind fire.
Yeah, there's like a
I did my best.
firebolt that launches into the sky. It kind of lights the area briefly before missing its target and dissipating in the distance. You still have a bonus action or movement?
Think that might be it. I'm just gonna, I guess, brace for impact. I do get
Okay.
hit.
Fix.
I stand up from prone and cast Frostbite on the one directly in front of Will.
Okay. Is this also a... Oh no, this is a con save. Let me roll a con save for you. 19. I'm going to guess that passes.
Yeah.
Your...
Yeah, no, so it does nothing.
So that does nothing. How does it look before he shrugs this
I
off?
flick my hand out, and there's like a frost that suddenly like appears and shoots towards him. But as it shoots towards him, it appears to just dissipate straight away.
I think probably like maybe it hits some of his armor. He's got this it's like leather armor, but it's still big and rugged looking. It looks very beaten up. And as he's running towards you, you can see that he's very large. He looks like he's pushing 7 feet tall, all muscle, but still quite quick on his feet for it. This frostbolt hitting the frostbite hitting the armor, and then crackling away before it manages to settle in. You can still do a bonus action or movement.
I will stay here. Set up.
Okay, fire.
I am going to do the exact same thing as I did last time because I'm a rogue. I'm gonna move there, take my shot, or hide, bonus action hide.
Alright. Give me a stealth check.
Okay, yeah. I didn't do that last time either, but...
No.
Ooh.
25 on the stealth and 25 on the attack roll, so that's a hit.
Boom. 10.
Another 10.
And then I'm just gonna move back.
Yes. The target that you're aiming for now with 2 arrows in his chest. We probably as an audience see him snap them off, but you can see that there is a dangerous amount of blood running down the front of his chest. He doesn't look afraid, but he doesn't look like he's in a good position. These are 2 deeply buried arrows, and this is the smallest of the 3.
Okay.
Will.
God, jeez, Brett, how much HP do these guys have? Okay.
I've been having a lot of fun with preparing this campaign.
Yeah, I'm going to... heck with it. I'm gonna swing at this guy.
Okay.
Take a swing with a 16.
16 is a hit.
And that yields 9 damage.
This guy is running at you. He doesn't have a shield. He is just running towards you. You can see that he's got a mace in his hand. It's quite a nice looking thing. You'd expect that these bandits would have weapons that they may have taken off of people, and this thing looks like it was probably taken off of a town guard or something like that. It looks quite new, but kind of plain looking. He brings it up to swing down and bring down on your head as you bring a knife across his chest. It opens up a nasty wound, but he keeps moving forward as you cut into him. And is that the end of your turn?
I believe that is all I can do, so yes, that's it.
Okay. In that case, he is going to attempt to bring this mace down on your head.
I believe you just subtracted 9 health from me instead of...
Oh, did I?
bandit.
Sorry. Ignore me.
I did not stab myself yet, Brett.
Yes.
Not using that, were you?
I'm not looking at... I have this screen zoomed very far out, and that screen zoomed closely in. So when I'm actually doing token stuff, I click randomly on the screen and hope I'm hitting the right token. But you do have to keep that 9 taken off of your... Anything that happens, I'm afraid. I'm kidding. You can add it back.
This is hard enough, Brett.
Yeah, add it back. Well, unless he does 9 damage to you. Here comes a mace aiming for your face. Any day now. 14 against your AC.
It is not a hit.
And then the second attack from the mace on an 18.
That is a hit.
Yeah. 7 bludgeoning damage. You feel this mace come down. You maybe duck a little bit as it rushes past your head. As you bring yourself back up to a fighting position, there's a sudden crack as you feel this thing crunch on the side of your head. It feels as though he caught you on a backswing, so it's not going to immediately destroy your head, but this guy feels strong enough that he could probably just crush your head if he wanted to pick you up. This is a hulking figure in front of you. A rivulet of blood running down the side of your head as he brings his arm back again. You hear the huge orc or half orc in front of you say,
What were you saying, little one?
bringing this thing up again. And that brings us to the next guy who is going to move up as well. Kind of scouting the area, not going to come all the way in, I don't think. The half-orc that seems to be shouting the orders at them is scouring the area. And you're standing up now, Fix, yeah?
Yep.
And a heavy crossbow bolt flying in. Why is that doing damage? Oh, it's a 7. I'm an idiot. 7, I'm guessing, is a miss.
Yes.
As this flies through the fog behind you. The injured orc slightly upriver from you is finally taking some initiative and moving around as well. Fire, I don't think you see them doing so, but they take a position behind one of the other rocks. You can't see them in your own fog, so you've probably lost track of them a little bit. But they fire on you. They fire into the fog, into the vague area they believe you to be, so they have disadvantage still. 17. Oh no, 20. No, it is 17. I'm so dumb. 2 hours.
On me?
Sleep. Yes.
Do I still get the +2 from the rock or not because of the angle?
Let's
I
quickly
doubt it. I think the rock is in front of me.
where the rock is. Yep, no, you get no AC. He's firing in.
Okay,
from,
then he hits me.
like he'll be poking around here, firing over at you. So
Yep, that hits.
hits. Damage. Hey, 3 piercing.
Okay.
This thing probably flies past you and cuts you as it launches past the area that you guys are in, maybe just barely missing Merlin over his head, and you
Would I know
realize
where
that
he
you
is?
have a wound.
No.
Give me a perception or an investigation check.
Nope.
I would say you can tell he's moved.
Yeah.
Before you realize that you're bleeding a little bit. And that brings us to Merlin.
Okay. I'm going to use True Strike.
Okay.
So you extend your hand and point a finger at a target in range. I'm going for the guy still trying to attack. Well, that's attacking Will. And yeah, no, this is. Would I be able to give my potion to fire?
I'd say you can hand it over, but you can't actually use it on fire.
Yeah. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, without saying a word, I kind of just look up at her and I hand her my health potion.
Yeah.
And just give her a nod.
Just take it.
Right, and I think
True Strike
that's
once
an
again
action.
is you'd have to pull your fog cloud down.
Oh, what?
So-
Oh,
You might just
oh,
want to
it.
fire.
Ooh. Yeah, no, it is a concentration. Oh, snap.
You want to control Z your spell?
Yeah, if that's okay. All right,
Yeah.
fine.
The general rule
Just-
of thumb for me is like once the turn is over, it's locked in. That includes like
Got
whether
it,
we
got it, okay.
screw up numbers
Oof.
or we forget about something or, you know,
Right.
what's
I
done
totally
is done.
Forgot that. Yeah, I totally forgot it's a concentration spell. All right, I'm going for the firebolt then.
Okay, give me the attack roll. And you're aiming for the one that's firing at will? That
Yeah,
is
that's right. Oh God.
a 4, which again is a miss. It flies off into the air.
Horrible.
Yes, you with all of your wounds all over your body. I imagine Merlin is like already covered in bandages and like band-aids and stuff. I don't know why, but just somehow he's already got first aid administered, but yet he's still kind of messed up. And that being a miss, are you staying there?
Yeah, I got nowhere else to go.
Okay, Fix.
The fog cloud's now gone.
No, it's not.
Oh.
It would have been if she had stuck with.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I will. What's the minimum range for a ranged spell before you are at disadvantage?
The minimum range for the spell depends on which spell you're doing.
Oh, for like my Eldritch Blast.
He just has to be out of arm's reach, so you're good right there.
Okay, great.
Oh, the minimum range so that you're out of melee. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, it's 5 feet. So yeah, just
Okay.
1 square off.
Yeah, I'll just aim another Eldritch Blast straight at green. Seeing that my frostbite didn't work so well.
Mm-hmm. That is a 9, which is a miss. There's a kind of shock of air that runs past you, Will, and you see it buffet at the cloak on this figure in front of you as this Eldritch Blast is shot slightly wide. He also, I think, probably moves a little bit out of the way as well. And while he and the one with the arrows in him are both injured, they don't seem to be very... they don't act injured, is really what it is, even though they look very injured. Is that the end of your turn?
I will move into the fog cloud. I'm gonna move here.
Okay. Brings us to you, Fire.
I know
At the
that
start of your
they've
turn, I'm
moved.
gonna just yell, fire!
Okay, then let me see. Let me check my movement. Okay. If I hear him yell, which I'm guessing I do, I'll move here,
Okay.
hide, and try and attack this one.
Alright, yeah, give me the attack roll.
Oh, I need to roll stealth, right?
Yes, roll me that as well. That is a crit.
Ooh! 13 on my stealth.
13 on the stealth.
Oh,
And
oh.
that is... how do you want to kill him?
Oh, yeah!
Enough damage to kill the big one standing in front of Will. He's bringing this mace up again. He's about to bring it down on Will's face.
Okay.
And what happens?
I would like... He pulls it back, and I imagine Will's just like, fire! And then you probably don't even see me. At first, you just see the arrow right through, like, the middle of the throat. And then you look over, and I'm just there.
I should be
Yes.
grateful, but instead you just get a, finally!
Yes, the arrow goes through the throat of this half-orc. You see him bring his hand up to his throat, the other hand holding the mace faltering as he stumbles backwards, blood pouring out from his throat. Is that the end of your turn, Fire?
I'll just say, you can walk away now. And that's it.
Give me an intimidation roll.
Ooh. Ooh.
15. The half-orc with his throat gargling just says... But from behind where Fix is, off into the distance, you hear the other one say, "No, I don't think we need to walk away. I know, Bluster. All right, I'm coming in then." And that brings us to Will's turn.
Darn it, Brad. You did this on purpose. I know you did this on purpose.
I did all of this
All
on
right.
purpose.
I am going to move here and take the dodge action.
In a horrific turn of events, a mace swings at you as you begin to move away. As the half-orc with the arrow through his throat stumbles backwards, he regains 1 HP because he has the Relentless Endurance half-orc trait, because no one ever gives them the traits that they deserve when they're different species. And he has 1 HP, and he's going to swing a mace at you. On a 10, he misses. But you hear him behind you. He's for sure dying, by the way, but he's not dead yet.
Right.
Continue your turn.
Did that consume my movement, or like when I'm getting swung at and realize he's alive, can I stop?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So I took like 1 step and he tried to hit me.
Yep.
I'm going to turn back around and try to finish him off. That is a 19.
How do you truly want to kill him?
When he swings at me, I'm gonna duck, put my sword down for a second, snatch his crossbow from his belt, aim it at his mouth, and fire.
Yes.
And say, I told you you'd eat it, and throw it on his body.
He goes to say something, and you pin his mouth closed through the lower jaw. The bow going up, the crossbow bolt going up into his brain, and this time you see one of his eyes roll back, and then this huge form hits the ground. He is 100% dead. I promise. No funny business this time.
I will recollect my sword, since that was a cutscene kill, not a real action.
Absolutely.
Pick my sword back up.
You can pick up weapons on movement, I think, in 5e. It's very strange. There's like no action to pick stuff up, which is why I think it's okay to pass a potion.
Right.
Yeah.
So I will, at this point, move here with my remaining movement. And end my turn.
Okay. So this one is dead. We have this one. So I think as you see this third half-orc walking towards you, he's dual-wielding maces. And he moves towards you. And he's gonna swing them at you. 1 and 2. 21 and a 16.
That is 1 hit.
4 bludgeoning. I think probably you get your shield up in time, and maybe they both hit the shield. It's just the 2 hits from this relatively large orc. You're maybe equal in size. Will's pretty big, right?
Will's not particularly tall, but he is built like a football player. Very wide.
So I'd say you're probably equally matched in that sense, maybe. So it's still rough as these 2 maces come down on this shield. You can feel it as it does something, maybe splinters a bone in the arm. I don't know what these bones are called. I said I'm not a doctor. And let's see here whether I can. Merlin, there is this sound in the fog. You hear some sloshing for a moment, and then there's a lot of quiet before you hear
Fire? Oh god!
Right next to you. This one has smelled you out. But that's the end of his turn. He's only found you. But you can tell he's right behind you. And it's your turn.
I don't know if this is gonna work or what. Wait, hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me actually. Is this? Okay. Right. I think I can do this. It doesn't require breaking my concentration. I'm gonna cast Minor Illusion. I'm gonna hastily make an illusion of myself, if possible, to confuse this guy.
Okay. I'm curious. Is it a physical illusion? Or is it a sound?
Image. Oh, it's an image of an object. Oh boy. Can I make like a?
You kind of got to pick with minor illusion.
Oh, okay.
Later on, you'll get a thing called major illusion, which will let you do all sorts of fun stuff.
Right.
Okay. I play almost broken,
minor.
but With this, you kind of have to pick whether it's going to be an object, like you. It will be like a kind of crude version of you standing there.
Yeah, like a dummy. Oh
Yeah.
god. Ooh.
But you can make a sound as well if you want it to be a sound.
I could try. Can I maybe make a minor illusion of like his mother calling him to go back home? Stop wasting his time out here.
Do you know what his mother sounds like?
No, but I'm gonna try.
All right. Well, you tell me what it sounds like and what you say. And I guess you're
So,
throwing your voice behind him.
Yes, obviously, so that he would maybe go the other direction. So Merlin panically casts this minor illusion of a sound, hopefully sounded like his mother. Oh, Sonny! Yoo-hoo! I do require your assistance. I am tripped, I have fallen, and I can't get back up.
Roll me a performance check.
Oh no, I knew you'd make me do this. Oh no. Oh shit. Okay, come on. Ew.
14.
Ew.
All right, I'm
No.
gonna roll
Oh no.
I guess a perception check. Would it be? No, it'd be. Yeah, no, I don't know what it would be. I'm just gonna roll a dice. Well, he turns around and says, "Who's that? Who's there?" I don't think you can tell whether he thinks it's his mother or not, but he certainly thinks that someone's behind him and was not expecting it. You get the sense that he's like, "Oh, there's someone else here." He doesn't go running off or anything, but that kind of Jurassic Park moment where the raptor is right next to the girl's face in the kitchen kind of ends as he turns around and looks back behind him, and seems to have stopped hunting you directly.
Okay, I'm going to take this chance to maybe move right next to fire.
Yes, and he doesn't
Okay.
take any attack of opportunity on you because he's just completely distracted.
Okay.
And why would he? Because he thinks that there's an old lady right behind him. Okay, and
Okay.
is that into your turn?
Yes.
All right, 6.
I'll pop out of the fog cloud and move over to stand over the dead body of his pal. And just shout, "Are you sure you want to do this?" To the red as I Eldritch Blast again.
All right,
That's
give
I
me
can do.
the attack roll. 12 is a hit. 7 damage. You see this orc engage with Will. You move out. Ask him if he wants to do this. He sees you. You see his eyes track you, but he doesn't respond to you as he kind of hits Will's shield there. Will grunting maybe with effort before you see the orc push back a moment as you hit him for 7 force damage. That's not how the force works. And is there anything else you want to do?
How much more movement have I got? I'm gonna move. No, I'm gonna stay here.
Okay. Fire. Your turn.
Okay. Would I be able to know that this guy is here in the fog?
Give me
Like
a perception
with him yelling, maybe?
check.
16?
16, yeah. I think you're pretty aware of where he is in general.
Okay. Then I would like to sneak up behind him and take a swing at him with my rapier.
All right.
16.
16. I'm gonna give you the 23. It doesn't matter,
Okay.
but it in this sense. But I'm gonna give you the sneak attack because he's distracted, very distracted right now.
12 total.
12 total, and you need 9 to kill him. How do you kill him?
I just go, I sneak up behind him and just get right in his ear and go, I told you that you could have run. Backstab,
Yeah.
like Dark Souls.
Yeah. The little thing
Yes.
comes up.
And then I'll just sneak back over. Like I didn't do anything.
Roll me an athletics or dexterity, or an acrobatics check.
14?
14. Yeah, you stab him and he stumbles forward. You sense that he hits that rock in front of him. And then he spins around because he is a half orc and he comes back up to 1 HP. There is a kind of spinning back fist in this fog. You see it disperse some of the fog, and then you move away into the fog as he begins to once again kind of crawl around. He must be fatally wounded, but he's still moving. He's still up somehow.
I'll just face that direction and see if he's coming towards us, you know.
You get the sense that he is. I will roll for him in a second after Will.
I'm going to stay engaged on my current target, but instead of swinging at him, I'm just going to take the dodge action this turn.
Okay.
Just kind of be intrusive, getting this bubble. Whenever he tries to swing at me, just shut him down by just pushing. I'm like a boxer hugging a guy repeatedly, not letting him do anything. Just pushing him with the shield, and end my turn.
Okay. In that case, 2 mace attacks towards you with disadvantage coming in as he begins to swing wildly on a 14 and a 12. Guessing 2 misses.
He's just having the most frustrating time of his life trying to get a swing and repeatedly just getting pushed off balance.
Yeah. There's like a dance happening. And not in his favor. Now I'm going to roll a perception check. Through the fog, fire, there is a mace that swings wildly towards you. This has disadvantage. A swing once. Any day now. There, a 19. No, a 9.
9. No,
And a
it
mere
doesn't hit.
miss. And then a wild swing towards Merlin. On an 18.
Fuck you.
He's swinging wildly, moving through the fog. There is a hole in his lung or something as he's stumbling forward, swinging this mace wildly. He misses you, brings it under, and I'm guessing on an 18 he's going to hit you, Merlin.
Oh yeah, he hit me.
Ding, 8.
Oh my god.
Boom! He collides, and the small frame of Merlin is launched off of his feet backwards, hitting the ground. Are you still up?
No, I'm down again.
KO'd again.
Yep.
Merlin's little form hitting the ground after this mace hit. There is a gargle from somewhere in front of you. You can sense that this half-orc is also dying, but you also get the sense as you hear Merlin yelp, I guess, as he hits the ground next to you. And Merlin, give me a death saving throw. 10.
Oh, that's already a miss.
10 is a make.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay. Alright, that's it for me. I'm probably just crying in pain.
And that brings us to 6.
So stressed. Did I hear?
There's no more fog.
There's no more fog. The fog drops, actually, and I guess you probably
it's
all
gone.
suddenly see Merlin on the ground, a big lump on his head, or I don't know, under his hat. His hat's on the ground. Fire, you're suddenly standing in front of this orc who's covered in his own blood. You can see that he's got this terrible wound in his chest, as well as 2 arrows, swinging wildly on his last legs, but still up. And then Fix, it's your turn.
I will Eldritch Blast red again.
Okay. 17's a hit. 13. It's good. I think you probably see this orc that's wailing on the shield in front of Will. Will's kind of dodging, moving out of the way. I think you probably catch him dead in the center of his face. You see his nose crack sideways as this invisible force and energy hits him. Blood shooting out from his nose as he spins around a little bit, trying to get his bearings before Will. More of an angry look on his face now than the cocky one that they started with.
Can I flick my head over to Fire and Merlin, and I assume I see what's happened here. And can I stand over Merlin?
I think you can when they're passed out, yeah.
Yeah, I will run over and stand over Merlin, between Merlin and the orc.
Okay.
And that is end turn.
Fire, your turn.
I will look at Vix and say, do you have a potion?
I suppose.
And I will just swing at the guy.
22 is a hit.
I want to try and take his head off if I can.
Pretty hard to do with a rapier, but that's a lot of damage and a 22. So I'm going to say you do it. Yeah.
Sick.
I'm going to say, because he has 1 HP and you just dealt 17 on a 22. Yeah. It's a furious strike, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably does that thing where it doesn't even look like it's cut. And then a few seconds later, his head slides off of his neck. And then he falls in two parts. One part, his body going one way and his head rolling off into the river, the little stream that heads down to the main ocean. And yes, you successfully defeat the final, or the secondary half-orc bandit. At the end of your turn?
I'll just look at Vix and say, get him up if you can. If not, I will.
He is not my concern.
Fine. And that's the end of my turn.
Brings us to Will.
Yeah. See if we can finish this. I'm gonna take a big swing at him. And that is a 12.
Which hits.
And that is 11 damage.
How do you kill him?
Is this the one who said that he was going to take my sword?
Yes.
Perfect.
He wants all of your sword and shield and armor, you know. Nice shield with the emblem on it. You can use that.
Now I'm gonna, when he goes to swing at me, between all these repeated obnoxious shield bashes so he can never get a clean swing, the second he gets frustrated and like goes for that big hit, I'm gonna take his hand off and then just run the sword through him and leave it there for a second so he can have it.
And he stumbles backwards. There's a moment as he kind of stumbles backwards that he looks down at himself run through with this longsword. He stumbles back, looks up at you, falls to one knee, attempts to pull the thing out, and says,
all right. All right, you got me. Mercy.
We'll see about that. Just turn back and look at the others and leave him there for a second. Well, actually, no. He can get back up and hit me. I'm gonna walk over and just plant a foot on him to make sure he stays down.
He's dropped his maces and he looks like he's on death's door. Even if you left him at this point, you'd be surprised if he can get. He certainly wouldn't make it to one of the towns to receive the medical aid that he needs unless he has some ability to do it himself.
Okay.
He's looking down at this wound. Is the sword out?
No, I've left it in him because
right.
I feel like if I pull it out, he'll just bleed to death on the spot if I try to
I think
remove it.
he's probably on his knees then with this thing sticking out of him. He's kind of got his arms up, but you can see that already his arms are weakening. Is anyone doing anything about Merlin?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I will look
immediately.
down at Merlin. After I said that, I will be looking down at Merlin and just like fuming, trying to help him back up.
He probably looks like he's gonna cry.
Does he? Can he get up without a potion, or will he need?
He for sure. Well, you can leave him to see if he stabilizes on his own if you'd like.
Okay.
Don't make him make death saves.
You can leave him to make death saves.
No,
I
consider it.
You can.
I consider
if
it for
you-
literally a brief moment, and then just put my hand into my bag and force it down his throat. And it's not gentle. It's literally just like forcing the mouth open straight down the throat.
Yeah, it's the worst
He
thing
just
ever as
takes
you
it.
come, to back up to sort of a level of consciousness and you understand what's happening again. Somebody once again is feeding you a bottle of healing potion. Again, you feel the effects take hold immediately. You wake up and roll me 4d4 plus 2. No, 2d4 plus 2. What was the roll that we set? It looks like Disby's doing it, so that'll do. 7. You have 7 HP.
Again?
I'll just stay there and just walk over to Will.
Yeah, you'll hear me kind of snarling close to his ear and say, "You already decided your fate when you fired the first arrow, but I can still give you mercy. As in, I'll make this clean and quick instead of being here for hours. But
Wait.
first,
Will he talk? And I just look at him.
He's got blood running out of his mouth.
I just look at Fix like,
The half-orc looks up at you and says,
Of course I can talk.
Have you got anything of use to
I'll-
say?
I'll look back at him and look at the patch, the mercenary patch these guys are all wearing, and say, "What is this?"
yeah,
do
they
you work
have
for?
they have tattoos and emblems that seem to be a sort of lion and snake-looking thing. Some of them are sort of abstract looking, very weird looking, like a blend of the two creatures. Some of them, and this one in particular, has a tattoo that runs up the side of his neck that looks a lot like this, and it's a lot clearer in this that it's some sort of lion and snake emblem. They're not all exactly the same, but they all bear the same two creatures, a lion and a snake on them. And you're pointing at one of them?
Yeah, I'm pointing at. You said that when they first approached, they recognized an emblem on the shoulder. So I'm
You've
just
seen these and you know
putting
where
my-
from, so...
Yes. Okay. Well, I'm pointing at it and saying, "What is this?
He
Who
says,
do you work for?"
There's a tattoo. What? Well, that's a difficult question, really. I
What
work for a
company do you work for?
company. Oh, right.
What
well,
mercenary company are you in?
Oh, I think I'm dying. Oh, no. Oh, I'm blacking out. Oh, I'm blacking
I'm gonna grab him by the collar then and say, "I will keep you alive until you answer this question. Who are you?"
you can see he's
conjure
kind
a
of
sort
blacking
of-
out a little bit.
An icicle directly in front of his eyes, just as he's like millimeters from his eye.
He goes,
I'm actually pulling my healing potion out at this point. like I might very well just give it to him instead of drinking it myself.
I'm going to roll his final death save. To fail. He dies.
Oh, wow.
In your hands, there's blood running out of his body, and he falls to the ground in front of you.
I'm still holding him up. I'm
Yeah.
gonna just snap and lose my temper and walk over here to this rock and just take the body and just slam it headfirst into this rock and let him crumple to death by the river there, and just like, I need one of them alive.
Well, if
Little
they're
late
lucky,
for
they
that.
might come back from the undead.
Check and see if they have anything on them. Marching orders, paperwork, identification.
Gold.
This is no group of bandits. These guys are way too organized. They're using military tactics, ambushing, surrounding.
You think you know?
And
them?
I'm gonna start fishing through the one's pockets by the rock and check for potions, weapons, letters. Just check every pocket he has and see what he has on him.
In general,
the
are you
same.
doing that with the three of them? Because I can just give you
Yeah.
an inventory for what they have
I'll
on them.
check the back one. Yeah.
The three of them have 3 empty flasks and 3 invisibility potions on them.
Oh.
You also find a miscellaneous amount of money over the three of them that amounts to 10 silver, which works out as 1 gold, but is 10 separate silver pieces if you wanted to share it out, and 5 copper. As well as their weapons, they have 3 heavy crossbows. They have 4 maces between them. They also have armor on, but you wouldn't really get anything from it unless you wanted to rip the patch off and have an image of the lion and snake. You can take that. They don't have anything written. They have no scrolls or anything like that, but they do have a very crude map that has some orcish lettering on it. You can see what looks to be the village of Kull and what looks to be the village of Som's Point. Just 2 dots, orcish writing under each one, and 2 crosses, one just to the east of Kull and one just to the west of Som's Point. Other than that, that's all you find on these guys.
Okay. Is the lion and snake tattoos and patch the only thing, or do they have any other markings?
They've all got varying tribal markings and scarification on them. The only real common thread amongst them is the same looking idea of a lion and a snake tattoo. Each of them has a tattoo, and each of them has an emblem upon them somewhere.
I'm specifically looking for the red tooth emblem.
That
on
is
any of
not
these guys.
on any of them.
Okay.
These are half orcs.
Right. I will cut off the patch from his uniform with the emblem on it and pocket that as well.
Yep.
And then turn back to the others.
You
Is everyone
probably
okay?
find that Merlin is picking up the charred grubs from before, saving these for later. He's just shoving them in his pockets.
Actually, can you make heads or tails of this? And I'm gonna take the map with the orcish scribe on it and show it to Merlin. Somewhere in that eccentric brain of yours, is there some way that you can decipher this?
Let me have a look.
You don't
I
speak
do-
orcish, right?
No, but I'm gonna look knowledgeable. So I'm gonna look like I'm taking a really good look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Can I investigate?
Yeah, give me an investigation check. A 19. How many times has Merlin seen a map of the realm and the land? What sort of understanding does Merlin have of the realm? I know that there's cultural misunderstandings sometimes, but in terms of the layout of where he is.
I'd say he'd have a pretty good idea, considering he had his face in books most days. He had very little interactions with other living things other than small critters. So, yeah, I'd say
Pretty good
at least-
understanding of. You've probably
Yeah.
seen the map then of how this place looks. So I would imagine then that you can tell that this crude map has 2 points on it. The rough cartography suggests that there is on this map a kind of ocean line. Some point comes out to an actual point on the map, and Kull is behind a rough-looking mountain range. With these 2 X's and the kind of rough cartography, you can for sure tell that this is a rough map of the area that you are in. You know roughly, and you probably all know roughly, that on the map you are literally here. For us watching, it's about 1 hex away from Kull's south. But what the X's actually mean, you don't know. Your best guess would maybe be encampments, something like that, hideouts, unless it is potential hit spots. It seems to be that one of the X's is roughly where you are now, which is where you were hit by the bandits. So you would guess it's one of those 2 things.
So I'd probably then explain to Will that, well, it's either these X's mean these are hideouts of theirs, or, well, this was planned. This ambush was planned. They knew we were coming.
Okay.
I then hand it back to him.
I'll take the map back. This could point us where to find them next, if they're set up at these points then. Looks like the militia boys back in Kull were right. They did head east towards Sum's Point. I'll put the map away. I'll look down at Merlin. You gonna be okay? You got smacked around.
Yeah, it's been a rough start. We probably should have got some things from well,
With what money? Unless you want to send your friend to go steal from the shopkeepers.
well, I mean, I'm usually good at asking for things. That, or if they're not looking, I'll just simply borrow
I can handle
and just
that.
not return.
It doesn't usually go well.
Just asking, and
Well, I'm
People
usually
just-
the
people just-
distraction.
give you stuff?
I mean, what? And I'm a gnome.
I'm just looking at Will and just,
No. Oh, okay. No.
huh?
I'm completely lost at the idea of people just giving stuff away for free. I'm like,
No.
just ask for stuff.
I've always been given things.
Mhm.
Well, actually, I've been just taking things.
Yeah.
Taking the piss, for example.
I keep my mouth shut, and then I just slowly inch towards fire and just look up at her with a very, very guilty look on his face.
It's fine.
Is it fine?
It is now.
We were all almost killed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to think
I'll
we
turn
were
to-
woefully underprepared for this.
I'll turn to look at Fix just kind of apologetically and say, I was gonna ask him about your man too, for the record, before I killed him. Shame he didn't live a few seconds longer.
Shame we didn't spot them earlier.
I'm gonna hold up the potions of invisibility. Are they labeled, or can we discern what this is?
I think you would recognize them. They're like there are obviously lots of just unlabeled potions around, and but when you purchase these things from towns and things, and alchemy is a lot more prevalent in this realm and in this setting in general, due to the need health potions. So there are a lot of alchemists around, and there are lots of strange ingredients from all across the land that come together to make different potions. These are essentially what would be like store-bought, potions. So they are branded. You can see that it says in common, invisibility, written around a little sort of scroll that's wrapped around the bottom of these strange shaped flasks. So these ones look like they're probably stolen, but they are taken from an alchemist of sorts or a store. So you can tell that this is a market bought thing. Now, whether they actually have invisibility potions in them is a whole other thing, but you did see them appear and manifest out of nowhere, so they probably are.
When Fix points out that we didn't see them coming, which was my job, and this is not lost on me, I'm just gonna hold that up and say, in my defense, they were literally invisible. But now we have these.
I assume I would know that the invisibility is temporary, and we've been on the road for a while.
Yeah, I think invisibility potions they're relatively uncommon. But if you want to have knowledge of what it does, then you absolutely can. I posted in our group what it does, but just for the sake of everyone, the invisibility potion, when you drink it, you become invisible for 1 hour. Anything you're wearing is also invisible. The effect ends early if you attack or cast a spell. It's entirely up to your character whether you want to have that knowledge, but it wouldn't be difficult knowledge to come by, even if you've never used one or seen one before.
If we're going to carry on down this road, we're going to need far, far better insight into what's ahead.
The only real insight we have to go on at the moment is this map. But at least this does give us a vague idea of where they might be headquartered. Maybe we can get the drop on them instead.
A vague idea of where we're going to die if we go without preparing.
What do you think we're doing right now, if not preparing? We can see roughly where they might be. How close are these markers to the mountain?
It's a very, very rough map written on an old piece of parchment that seems to have had other writing on it as well, but the X appears to be basically where you are. While you can't quite see the mountain, you can tell by the terrain underfoot that you're very close to it. It's probably within maybe 100 and 150 feet of where you are north. Very close to where you are. The X would be pretty much exactly on your spot, or thereabouts.
So roughly we're at the X then.
Pretty much. If you were to pick where the X was, the X would be you're standing on it.
If these symbols on the map look the same, logically, they probably are the same. And if this one was an ambush point, that might mean that they're lying in wait at the same spot near Swamp's Point.
We're going to need some healing. I look down at myself and I'm not looking great. I'm like covered in bugs and bleeding and...
Yeah, I've got blood pouring down my face too, but I'll just look up and go, right, and then just look back at the map.
There is the option for you to take a rest. Healing doesn't just have to come from healing spells and potions, but you can do short rests and long rests. A short rest is around an hour of sitting around doing nothing, patching up your wounds, licking your wounds, and you can roll hit die, which you will see on the center of your character sheets. At level 2, you have 2 hit die. It will roll a different dice for each one of you. And you can roll those and regain that HP back. Warlocks will get their spells back, and any abilities that come back on a short rest specifically will also come back. Or you can take a long rest, which is like a full 8-hour rest. It would be like a full night's sleep, or you don't actually technically have to sleep if you don't want to, but you can't really be doing anything arduous. And you'll just get everything back. If you've used hit die, you get half of your hit die back on a long rest. And other than that, you'll pretty much get everything back. It's up to you if you want to choose to rest or you carry on, or you want to use your last 2 potions and move on, that kind of thing.
So, excuse me, sorry. If I remember right, at the beginning of this encounter, we've already been on the road for like 9 hours today or something, right? You said it was a full day's travel, yes?
You did about a half a day's travel. You went from daybreak to what would feel like midday-ish at the moment.
Okay. This other ambush point on the map, could I ballpark it which of these hexes it's in? Like, how far out?
Yeah, it would be right on the edge of Som's Point. You'd
So
have
the last
to be
hex.
Yeah, on our map you'd have to be like yeah, on this hex that's just outside of Som's Point. Your eggs, if I put them on there for you, is what I'll do. That would be kind of where the X's are. If you were really being specific, you guys are probably there. At the very, very base of the mountains. The X being maybe a little more on the mountain, I guess.
Perfect. Okay. Then I'll just look at the others and say, we should definitely take a minute to lick our wounds after that. But I don't think we should
Merlin.
stop here.
I agree.
Yeah, we need rest.
We keep
Burn
moving.
these bodies first.
Burn them or at least throw them in the water. I don't know that I want to... I don't know that I want to make a fire. What if their allies or friends come looking for them? They'll see that fire from miles off. It'll be the only source of light.
We stand them up. We lay them over these rocks. We splay them out.
The chance of them coming back as undead is too high to take the risk.
I like the idea of sending a message, but I'll go along with whatever you want.
Sending a message is nice, but taking them by surprise is far superior. And I'm worried that a source of light will be visible in every direction from miles.
The river,
Perhaps we throw them in the water. Let's do that. Give me a hand.
I
I'll,
assist Will.
I warily go and
Yeah.
slowly leave the bodies.
Start dragging them over to that water source.
Yeah, you can do that. It's little more than a trickle of a stream, but if you follow the stream a little more south, you'll find a larger water source that leads out to the ocean. There's a much larger river to the south of where you are, and you can follow these streams to it, dragging the bodies quite easily. Maybe it takes you 20 minutes, 25 minutes, something like that, just to get to where you need to go. And with 3 plops, the bodies go in, and before you know it, they're out of sight.
All right, let's find a spot out of sight. Catch your breath. We're all pretty banged up.
What did you take off of them? Did you take any of the other items?
Oh, I assume we took everything.
All the money.
That you listed.
Yeah.
All the money, the weapons, we waste not, want not. We scavenge everything.
Okay. I'm just trying to keep a mental note of encumbrance. I don't really do any hard encumbrance stuff, but I just assume that if you're carrying, an entire elephant, that you're over encumbered.
Okay, well, not their armor sets then. Like, we don't need multiple big armor sets,
Yeah,
but
just the
the
items.
crossbows, the potions, and the money that you mentioned.
Yeah. And we can just assume that you find a spot nearby to rest. Is there anything in particular you're looking for? As cover or an
Lightly
environment?
Lightly covered with a view of hopefully enough of the road that we have a bit of warning.
It's quite the further south you come towards the river area, there is it flattens out quite well. but it's also quite open. There's not a lot of like cover with trees and stuff. The mountains would provide lots of caves, but obviously then there are caves. The river provides a decent amount of noise if you wanted noise cover, but it's on a kind of open patch of land. I would say it's pretty hard to find decent natural cover where you are, unless you wanted to go up into the mountain range. But also you're well off of the path, being down by where the river is. You know that you just need to go dead north to find the path again, so you wouldn't become lost. But you're far enough off the path that no one would really see you.
Yeah, lightly covered area, or as best as we can find, but primarily just like at least a few 100 feet away from where the ambush happened. So if their backup comes looking for them, we're not going to be there. The bodies aren't going to be there. Just no trace.
Yeah.
And are you taking a short or a long rest?
We're just taking a short rest.
Short rest?
Unless
Yeah,
someone else speaks up and wants to
I figured
camp out
short
here.
rest.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So you make a sort of makeshift camp, or just a small area, kicking stumps to check that there are no insects that come rushing out all over you. And as you each sit down and begin to check over your wounds and go through your packs for any sort of rations and things, there's a moment of probably a little confusion. It's always quite an odd thing when this happens, because a shaft of sunlight stretches across the ground before you. Sunlight which you haven't seen in maybe 2 or 3 weeks, as the sun, for the first time in a long time, rises around midday-ish. And that's where we're going to go to a break. Thank you for watching, watchers. We're going to take a short break here while they take their short rest. We're all going to take a short rest. It'll be about a 10-minute break, and then we're going to come back. We also have just a reminder that we have the giveaway to give away. We have somebody to pick at random to receive the Candlekeep Mysteries, which we're going to announce at the end of the stream. So stick around for that, or make sure you watch the VOD or whatever tomorrow, so that you can find out what to do and things and stuff. All of that coming at the end, but we're going to go to a short break now. Thank you so much for watching, and see you shortly. Welcome back. You can carry on your conversation now. They were discussing.
Merlin is great.
They were discussing killing Merlin.
And not
is
a
great,
hindrance
and
at all.
wizards are, the TLDR of our conversation. We love Merlin, but wizards are fragile. It's pretty much how it
Yes, they
plays
are.
out.
So,
Yep.
you guys are taking a short rest. I'm gonna roll one very scary dice for you right now,
No thanks.
and you guys can roll me some hit dice. So you can roll both of those hit die if you want. You can roll one. You don't need to roll any if you've not lost any HP or whatever and things. I think, did everybody get hit?
I think so.
Yeah, I
don't
did.
know. I can't.
I was doing great to that last stretch, and then I just got clobbered with a mace over
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah,
over
yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Even your hit die is squishy. What the hell?
Oh, even my hit die are overpowered,
Of
though.
course,
Look
yeah.
at that.
Jeez.
I'll just go ahead and take all my health back.
You can,
There we go.
yeah, if you want to roll another one, you can, but make sure that you mark off that 2 of them were used. And then when you take a long rest, you'll get 1 of them back. Yeah, you can recover that much health. Over the hour, nothing crazy happens aside from the fact that it is daytime. And you will all have for sure seen daytime. Every now and then there is an hour or 2 or 3 of sunlight. And sometimes it can go for months without sunlight, and sometimes there will be constant sunlight for several hours every day. Today, the sun rises at the beginning of your short rest and sets at the end of it. And
During said short rest, can I kind of stand up and walk away from the others? Not like off into no man's land, but just far enough off for a moment of privacy and see if there's any interaction between this sunlight amulet that I'm wearing and direct sun rays.
let's see. Roll me a d20.
An 8.
There is no reaction.
I'll just walk back over and sit down.
Do we see him, or do I see him do that?
I think you'd probably see him wander off, but he might have just been taking a leak.
We wouldn't be
It
staring.
very much looks like I'm going off to pee in the forest. This is what it looks like.
Okay.
I think probably you guys will each have to stand up and walk around a little bit over the hour. You know, some casual conversation, casual bants. Nothing pretty crazy happens, but you do have a chance to scour your landscape because there is daylight, so it's much easier to see the area around you. So if you guys want to roll me perception checks to see if you see anything out of the ordinary, you can do. If you're trying to do that, if you're looking for things in particular, let me know. But you actually, for once, get to look around.
Yay!
What happened to Fix?
I used all my good rolls in the combat. It's over now.
Fix, nothing stands out to you. The landscape is probably what you expect. Yeah, you guys who are looking around, you will all see, even Fix will see, that the area around you extends out pretty far. You can see in the distance Merrin's Keep. Very, very far away, there's a... it would look probably from here kind of like a very squat tower. This thing known as Merrin's Keep that all of you would have probably passed by quite closely on your way into Col. You can see the river that stretches out to what is an ocean, also much closer. And I'm not sure if everybody would have seen the ocean, the open ocean before, but Fix, you will have done. I would imagine Will would have, but maybe not Fire and Merlin. I'm not sure. It's up to them.
I'm from Guardia. I have most definitely seen the ocean because we're out on the little peninsula near a giant body of water.
Yeah. I just like to not say anything in case you guys are holding it back, so I don't dox you guys in case you don't want to be doxed. But yeah, you guys, I assume, will have seen the ocean. And yeah, so there's an ocean that spreads out to the east of where you are. Probably a strange sight behind you at the height of the hour of sunshine. You can see quite well that it's a turbulent and endless looking thing. To the north of you, you can see the road that you came in on. It's really not much of a road. It really is just kind of a sort of double-breasted dirt road thing. For sure, this is just a traveler's road for carts and trade. It doesn't seem like the type of... There are cobblestone roads and stone roads that are around the cities, like Guardia and Gofreda. Here, it's just a dirt thing. And then you can see a mountain region that stretches all across the north, covering even where you came round the mountain without even realizing, following the road via darkness from where Col is. On the south side of the mountain, there is a lot of movement and motion, but only Merlin sees it. At some point towards the end of this hour, as the sun begins to disappear, for the record, the sun doesn't rise and set, it just gets bright and then it becomes kind of overcast again, and darkness, almost like when you're in an eclipse. And Towards the end of this hour, Merlin, you notice that there is a lot of movement towards the north, beyond the path, towards the base of the mountainside. At first, I think you probably assume it to be animals, like a bunch of animals moving around. They're just little figures scurrying about. Before you realize that one of them has a cart. And until that moment, these very small figures in the distance probably didn't register as anything more than movement of trees and bushes or animals, until you understand and your eyes focus and allow you to recognize that one of them certainly has a cart, and that there are people off the road in the north towards the mountainside where you would assume there to be no people. Now that could be anything. You can't tell. They don't appear to be small folk, so they're probably not gnomes or halflings or goblins or kobolds. But other than that, you're not sure. Humanoids of some sort. They have a cart. And that is what you see on a 20. And also you needed to roll a 20. So well done.
Wow. Okay.
Or above. And that, I think, is all that you see. There is no, nothing attacks you or anything like that. Other than that, no people, no scouting team looking for you or anything like that. But Merlin, at some point, you do see these figures moving around, pretty much as far as your eye can see. You know, this thing is like a mile away almost.
Okay, well,
that's the end of your hour.
I immediately bring it up with them that there's some movement in the distance. There's someone out there, you guys. In fact, I think maybe I can make out two figures. They look like they're pulling a cart. They're a bit further north, though. I don't know if we want to approach.
Are they heading east to west or west to east?
Well, unfortunately, the light didn't last too long. The sun, I couldn't really catch which direction exactly they were heading to.
We should try to get a little closer and see who they are. If they came from the west, that means they're heading towards Tom's Point and they're going to get ambushed. If they came from the east, that means they passed through that other spot on the map.
Yeah,
and maybe they've seen the people we're after.
Them.
Or follow them and use them as bait.
And if they have a cart,
No, Will.
Got stuff.
Yes.
they might have things to take.
They will
I'm
not be
sorry,
used as
things
bait.
to exchange in order for protection.
Exactly what I was thinking.
I'm just looking around at all three of these making really dodgy statements, and I'm just kind of flabbergasted a little bit, actually.
I will, at the suggestion of like robbing them, you will note scowl of disapproval, but not saying anything.
It's either eat or get eaten out here. I
We
would
should-
know.
We should try to get closer and take a look. And I'll just kind of look at fire.
I'm sure I can get close without being noticed.
You should do that. I am not particularly quiet.
Okay. And I'll start to sneak and head that way.
Pretty
leaving the
far, by the way.
conversation.
You're going alone.
Yeah.
Like it's... You're gonna... In the dark, you're gonna have to travel... the entire hex. Pretty much from the bottom of the hex to the top of the hex.
Maybe not. Maybe then I'll just scoot up a little and see if I can get a better view.
Yeah.
Now that it's been pointed out to me.
Because of the flat land and the daylight and Merlin's superior vision in that time, he was able to see that there was something, and it was people. But it is as far as he could possibly see away.
Yeah. Do I even see them?
No, none of you saw them. And now that it's dark, you guys are relying on dark vision, which is about 60 feet.
Yeah.
And we can get a little wobbly with it here and there, but
I'm gonna look back and say, Will, come here please, quickly.
Yeah, I'm lurking about as far back as like I can see in the dark. I did not mean for her to travel a mile by herself. More like she's moving like 100 feet ahead of us, and I'm staying back. So
You can
I'll
absolutely
run
do
to catch
that,
up
yeah.
with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll run to catch up with her when she says that. What is it?
I don't see anything. I didn't see anything.
See, I'm kind of torn. We need to make progress to the east, but if these people came from that direction, they could have very valuable information.
I'm
do you
not
think?
not saying it's a lie, because Merlin doesn't. Merlin is very honest. But perhaps a misunderstanding.
I mean,
Trees
he saw
swaying
people.
in the wind.
He saw people passing, or he didn't. I don't know what could be misunderstood there.
I
unless
know what
he
I
thinks-
saw.
I think he heard us.
I believe him.
We know. I'm just saying, if we don't want to waste time, we don't have to.
If they're innocent and they get killed for an ambush that was meant for us,
So
does
be
that
it.
not weigh heavily on your soul?
I just gave you a look like, are you speaking French to me? Just ignore.
Yeah, I just nod in agreement.
We should catch up with them. We have the invisibility potions.
Agreed.
Okay, then I'll go on ahead, and you guys can stay behind.
Merlin, you said there were two of them. Were they... I forget. Did you say they were pulling a cart or not? I can't remember.
Yeah, Merlin did mention that they were pulling a cart.
Okay, if they have a cart, they can't stray too far from the trail, and it will have left tracks. So if we head directly back to the path, we can hopefully discern which way they were heading.
They can't be going that fast either.
So I guess we'll head north back to the trail and see if we can't find the tracks left by this wagon.
Yeah. So you guys are essentially traveling within the same hex here, but we're going to do the same travel checks that we did last time to determine what you find, what you're looking for, and what you find. And what you find, what you're looking for, and what you find, by the way, is exactly what I meant to say. So, without rolling first, I'll remind you what you guys can do. For these travel tasks, and what you're looking at now, previously you had somebody forage and find food, which was Merlin, and he found lots of berries and, you know, strange jellies and things that he shouldn't be eating, and he ate them. You had somebody, two people tracking, which is essentially looking for the tracks of another creature, or maybe looking for the cart tracks, things like that. You had one person scout, which is actively keeping ahead of everybody and keeping an ear to the ground, and an eye open for approaching enemy ambushes or other creatures. I know they sound like similar things, but mechanically they work differently. A tracking is a survival check, so you're spending more time looking for actual tracks, whereas a scout will be looking for somebody who will be lying in wait and ambush for you. You can also have somebody navigate, which is to make sure that you stay on course, but since you're navigating inside of the same hex, it's pretty hard to get lost. You will always be able to find your way back to the path quite easily, because there is one, the road. Yeah, does anybody want to pick and choose what they want to do there? Tracking, navigation, and scouting. Really, for you guys, it's tracking, foraging, and scouting. Tracking being a survival check, foraging being a survival check, and scouting being a perception check. Foraging will save you on food.
Yeah, my tracking and scouting are the same, so I can do either, whoever's better at what.
Which was perception?
Scout.
Okay, then I will scout also.
Okay. I want to go over to Merlin and say, how about this? If you can find the wagon tracks in the mud from the people you saw,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna pull out a strip of like salted pork rations and say, you can have this.
Where did you get that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't you dare do that in front
My
of-
secret. You gotta find the wagon tracks. And I'm gonna put it back in my bag.
Oh. Merlin is then sweating profusely. He needs to get this job done for that.
Okay, so Merlin
that
is
meat.
also tracking. So who's tracking and who's scouting?
Tracking.
Tracking, scouting,
Two
scouting.
trackers. I'll scout with
Scouting.
fire then.
Okay, so 2 perception checks from the scouts and 2 survival checks from the trackers, please. Oh wow, Merlin.
He's too busy daydreaming about
Yeah,
Too
distracted by
busy
the meat.
daydreaming about the meat.
For the record, Merlin, you
Aren't we all?
absolutely find the thing you're looking for, but we'll get to that in a second. Fix on a 16 and Merlin on a 3. I think it takes a while for you guys to move forward. Fire and Will may be scouting ahead, ensuring that there isn't... you're probably relying a lot more on your ears this time because you know the use of invisibility potions is a thing. Able to keep an eye out a little more for things that you know you should be wary of. Insects, very dangerous insects in this area. You've heard of a wyvern flying around, and you are hyper aware of invisible bandits in the area. So you're moving ahead, you're scouting, and you're looking for the appropriate things there. Fire, for the record, you are pretty damn sure that there is nothing, at least until you get to the road, which is where we're going to pause for a moment. Generally dangerous or actively hunting you or around you. Will, maybe less so sure, but you don't find anything either. Once you get to the road, Merlin finds tracks that are cart tracks that are they're leading back the way you guys came. Fix, you find cart tracks that are leading back and forth across this road. They look several days old, rain washed, but you can see these indents, heavy carts that have moved back and forth. There are no new cart tracks here. You're pretty sure. But Merlin for sure finds cart tracks once you get to the road. And we'll pause here and I'll see what you guys do with that information.
I think Merlin immediately runs to the fork of the road and notices the fresh tracks, and he's running on all fours and excitedly kind of wiggles his bum as if like he's got a tail. Yet he's all giddy. Will, I think I found him. Well, possible. Oh, and then he turns and he sees the other set of tracks. Oh.
So I'll walk over there to respond to him. I assume that me and Fire didn't spot anything with our scouting, yeah?
You're pretty sure you're alone out here.
Okay.
I'll give me a nature check, Will.
19.
Yeah, what he's found, Merlin, is one kind of groove in the ground. He's found the track that you guys dragged the bodies along. It's definitely what you left behind.
Good job, Merlin. I'll just give him the piece
Oh,
of meat.
thank you. He just
If you
immediately
reward
sniffs.
poor performance, you'll just keep doing it.
Yes.
But if you
If it keeps
reward
him-
poor performance, he'll just keep doing it.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
He's not gonna magically get better either. At least it'll keep him from running off and eating bugs.
I doubt that.
Did you find
Look
anything
down at
useful?
Merlin. I didn't find anything useful, but I found something interesting. There are no cart tracks here at all. Not
I don't-
recently, anyway.
I don't work well on an empty stomach.
It's okay.
Thanks, Fire.
You did see people with a cart, you said.
Yes, that I did. I am certain. I'm absolutely certain of that.
Does he often see things that aren't there?
Not often.
You don't strike me as a liar.
You know, these are still tracks. It was, you know, my oopsie that, you know, they're not quite the tracks that...
You said you saw a cart, and there are no cart tracks. So either you are gravely mistaken, a liar, or something else is going on here. And you don't
It's not a
strike me
lie.
as a liar.
I can tell you that much. It's not a lie. It might be. It might be. I'm not saying this is absolutely what it is, Merlin. But sometimes we all, you know, you see a tree move in the distance and you think, was that a tree or was that people with a cart?
I sort of turned to Fire. You really don't think much of him.
I don't think much of anyone.
I don't trust this.
I think Merlin just kind of, you know, shrugs a little and just utters, well, I guess, you know, we don't have to. We don't have to follow them. I know what I saw, though.
I'll stand back up and turn back to them now because I've been looking at the tracks on the ground and kind of not involved in the conversation up till now. I'm specifically looking for like horseshoes or anything like that that would only point a certain direction. I assume I was also unable to discern a direction here.
In the immediate area, you're gonna do like a walk around. What's the plan?
Plan is try to determine if any of these tracks are fresher than the others or specifically which direction they were heading.
Yeah. Give me survival checks if anyone wants to spend some time here looking around for anything that might help. See. Everyone rolled well, and Fix rolled a natural 23.
I really want to know.
Fix, roll me a nature check as well. You guys do a walk around this area on the roadside. Maybe some of you move a little further east, a little further west. Does anybody go off the path at all, or do you just stick to the path looking to try and determine how long it's been since the last cart or horse or travelers were here, aside from you guys?
I'd say we walked all this way to check, so we're most definitely going to be thorough
Everything.
and take a good, 20, 30 minutes or whatever it takes to scout the whole area. And I'm gonna, like, since they're squabbling and talking about splitting up, I'm gonna try and just refocus and say, help me look around. We might have missed it. We might not be standing in the right spot. There's gotta be something here we've missed. I doubt he just imagined it. And spend that time looking.
Yeah, you all spend a good time looking around. Merlin, Will, and Fire, you find your own tracks. You find the tracks of a lot more heavy set figures, the half-orcs that were tracking you. And you can find the tracks that Fix has found as well. The much older looking tracks of a cart that probably hasn't been pulled across this road in 2 days, maybe 3 days. Whatever it was a very heavy set cart or carriage maybe. It left really deep grooves in the ground. The presence of horses is pretty much washed out as well. But there is these are probably horse-drawn carts and carriages. For sure there hasn't been one pulled along this road for a while. Fix, however, maybe pushes just a little further out than the rest of you. Pushes a little further north and away from where these streams and rivers are. A little bit back towards Cull. Fix, you find a set of two wheels, a small looking cart, probably being pulled by a donkey or a small horse or pony or something like that, being pulled off the road. This is pretty far north, pretty far out, and a little further back from where the others are. You probably find yourself alone, suddenly realizing you've gone a bit far abreast of where you were intending to go. The only thing that seems strange to you is that at first you get the impression that this cart is being followed by snakes. There are these strange patterns that are following this muddied area. The mud from the rain and the nearby streams gives it a much more obvious impression in the ground. This cart is being pulled by a small horse. You can see that there are a few boot prints and stuff around it. But then there's this just strange pattern of that looks common, like snakes are moving across the ground. Loads of snakes, 5 to 10 snakes, something like that. Of this cart being pulled off, and you can now see very clearly that this thing was never on the road. It was clearly being pulled alongside, adjacent to the road, quite far to the north. And you follow it for a little while before you realize it heads almost directly north towards a little uphill towards the mountain range. You haven't got too far to go either before you hit the mountainside, so where it's going seems a little odd. Yeah, you find everything you're looking for. Almost missing it. These guys were pretty clever in that sense. They were trying to not be found. You get the sense of that for sure. Why anyone would be doing this is wild to you.
Yeah. And this is... when you say they go north, is it north still keeping adjacent to the path, or is it quite sharp?
Completely doing a right angle from the path at this point.
Right.
They're heading dead north. The path goes east to west, west to east.
Okay.
But it's easily findable and easily followable if you want to. For all of you, once you see it, if you're brought to it.
Snakes. Okay. Is everybody catching up with me, or are you all...
I guess you're all
on your
kind of
own?
around. But you can probably find each other. You're like the only things out here.
Okay, I call out to... I found something. I think you're muted.
What is it?
Seems Merlin was right. There is, well, has been a cart here. But I don't recognize these imprints. And why are they so far off the road?
They must not have wanted to be seen. No other reason to try and pull a wagon on unsteady terrain. What kind of tracks are we looking at?
So you're looking at...
Horse tracks or snake tracks, or I can't tell?
I think you get the same answer as Vix, really. It is weird looking. Cart, 2 wheels, probably. Being pulled by a small horse or a donkey or a pony. A few boot prints around. You get the sense of 2 or 3 people. And then this strange snake-like imprint following behind it. Like someone dragging a stick, but intermittently and strangely, and just leaving curly grooves in the ground.
Are there any kind of species of like intelligent snakes that we'd have ever heard of, wanties or something in this realm?
Yes. Yonti would leave a much larger snake imprint, though. This seems like a smaller thing, an adder. Lots of them.
Ropes, maybe?
Could be. Is there like snakeskin residue, like they've been molting or anything like that, or whatever the term is? I forget.
No, you want to give me an investigation check?
Yeah, I'm gonna look for both that or like fabric or pieces of rope or anything like that that would indicate that it was more man-made.
Could I also check?
Yeah.
Sherlock will strikes
Another,
again.
Sherlock will with a natural 20 on the investigation. Fixed with a 6. You don't find anything that leaves anything behind, but Will, you find a very recognizable barb. It is one of the barbs from the creature that the barmaid lovingly named Grell after her uncle, the monster that you fought in the tavern.
I'll just hold it up in front of Fix and say, "This looks really familiar."
Didn't you dispose of the corpse?
I did, but there's probably more. I would assume the thing wasn't one of a kind, and we're not far from the mist. Although... Huh. There was a guy back in town who said he was going to take the thing afterwards. I wonder if he would have brought it out here. Said he was doing some sort of research on them. I'll drop
What are you
bar.
suggesting? You gave him the corpse?
No, he
I was
got rid of it.
I was gonna throw it outside, and he was gonna pick it up and walk away with it. What am I gonna do? No, you can't touch that trash can. Question is, why would he bring it out here?
Well, the good news is there's no need to track him down. It's clearly not some innocent party who's going to fall upon an ambush.
Maybe. I'm gonna put my foot parallel to the footprints next to the cart and measure the size of it to see, like, how large are these footprints? Am I looking at a human-sized footprint, a big orc footprint, a little gnome footprint?
Two of the footprints are... Do you wear greaves or just boots? I don't know how knight in shining armored up you are.
I feel like with just chainmail, I probably wouldn't have greaves on, no. Just
You probably just got boots.
with the... Yeah.
Then I would say they probably look relatively similar in size. Maybe slightly smaller if you're particularly stocky, but just sort of an average boot size. There's one set that are a little wider. Might be a dwarf.
You say you sold it to a man.
Right. When I was about to dump the thing outside town, a guy walked up and offered me 4 silvers for it. And since I was about to drop it right there in the trash, I said, why not? Because he would have picked it up and walked off with it anyway after I threw it out.
Didn't mention
And of
that
course-
to us, did you?
Didn't see any relevance. Unless you'd like to go ahead and stop and mention every single element of what we've seen so far that you think might be relevant.
Considering what we're looking for, it wouldn't go amiss.
No. Okay. You're a walking pile of secrets, too. The question is, do we want to trace this guy down or not? He might know something, especially if... Oh, can we determine the direction of his cart now that we've actually found the tracks?
Yep.
Was
Dead
he
north.
heading east or west?
Dead north.
Before he turned north, did he come from the west or the east?
It came from the west. You had to backtrack a little. Fix backtracked a decent amount from where you first started. started out.
I'm open to suggestions. I'll admit that I'm curious, but I don't know that it's actually relevant to our current cause. If this is the guy that we saw back in Cull, and he came this way and then headed north, and he's not heading to Psalm's Point, so it might be irrelevant.
Are we willing to let him get ambushed and die now?
See, the
At
thing
what
is,
point
if
do
we
we
go...
draw the line?
Okay, see, the thing is, if we go chase him down to prevent him getting ambushed, there's no guarantee that somebody else isn't just going to come from the town behind us and they get ambushed. So, if we're really trying to prevent other people from getting hurt, then we need to get to Psalm's Point as fast as possible and either warn the local guard or figure out where the bandits are hiding, but we can't run around trying to catch every stray traveler, trying to tell them not to head east. Someone will get past us.
A man taking something such as what attacked us in the tavern doesn't strike me as having good intentions.
Well, you never know.
Me either, but it also doesn't strike me as being strictly negative. You can't develop a counter-toxin without getting a sample of it, you know? So who knows, his research or whatever he's working on could be positive. I couldn't really get a read on him.
Well, consider it this way. He took a creature that came out of the mists that has never come out of the mists before. There's no precedent for what he's doing. Seems pretty odd to me.
Someone has to be the first to start.
I wholeheartedly agree that it's odd.
And he was waiting as soon as it attacked? Outside the gates?
I don't know. He came and kind of caught up with me right as I was about to dump the thing outside and asked if he could have it.
What was his name?
I didn't even ask.
This is all very suspicious.
I'm gonna turn to Merlin. You're the one with the big brain. What do you make of this?
Oh, with me, well, I mean, just a moment ago, you all seemed very uncertain.
I can see the numbers and the gears turning in your head every time you look at that book of yours and when you were deciphering the map, alright? There's more in there than a feral little animal. You're smart. What do you think this means?
Honestly, I have no idea. I don't know what they're gonna do with that thing. I would imagine something with very malicious intent. They're risking themselves just by being out there with that thing.
This is a fair point. We can at least conclude it's important. He wouldn't be going up into the mountains and risking himself if it wasn't worth the risk. Why wouldn't he just stay safely in town?
Maybe there's more to this thing than we know.
Well, it's up to you. It's an interesting mystery to be sure, but I don't know that it's necessarily tied to the people we're tracking.
It doesn't get us any closer to what we're looking for.
But it may give us some answers in regards to the mist and why it ended up out here and didn't stay there.
What do you want to do,
Vic.
Merlin?
Well, they know something. And I'm a pretty eager beaver to find out what they know.
Okay.
But that's just me.
Will, the longer we wait, the further they get from us.
I agree. Much as my curiosity is piqued, I don't see how this is relevant to what we're doing.
They have guards around here for a reason, to stop that sort of thing.
How tall is the mountain range we're looking at on the trail heading up it? Like, How far and how long reasonably would it take if we were to go looking for the guy?
The mountain range stretches all the way from Cole to Som's Point. It then heads into the mist. I don't think you know how far north it reaches, but in terms of how far you are away from it, less than an hour before you get to the base of the mountain range proper. It, from what you saw in the daytime, and it was a pretty decent look, it's not the type of place that you can take a cart. It's unlikely this has any sort of habitable terrain or that there's anyone in there. Even the peaks of the mountain at the very top look like they're covered in mist. It's pretty close to the mist, but the area that you're in right now is it's not really like a mist issue, but I guess you also wouldn't know. So
Okay.
you're pretty close to the mountain. Less than an hour away north would take you to the mountain range. Whether that means you can follow the cart all the way up into the rocks, I don't know if you know that, but yeah, you've done the trek most of the way north.
Okay.
In the previous piece
I'll-
of travel.
I'll turn back to answer Fix, but also just kind of addressing the group as a whole. Okay, I dragged that thing. It was pretty heavy. And he's got a wagon drawn by a horse through mountainous terrain. He can't move very quickly. And it's been less than an hour since you spotted him. He can't be too far ahead of us. So whilst I agree this may not be strictly relevant to the hunt that we're currently on, if there is something here that's worth investigating, I feel it's not too far off, and it's not that much of a detour. And furthermore, if he can shed any light on these things coming out of the mist, well, I've already had one of them try to take my head off. If that's going to be a recurring theme here, I would at least like to see what he knows.
What exactly is it you're planning to do? Meet him on the road, say, I sold you this thing, but now I actually want to know what you're doing with it?
Yes. The Merlin strategy of just ask.
Well, okay, look, listen. I think with what we've obtained from our friends back there, I say we use that and watch them. Let's see what they do with that thing. Maybe by not asking this time around, we can get something. I don't want to ask them. I mean, not this time.
We could go under the guise of warning him about the bandits. At least gives us a friendly motive for approaching him. Say we saw you at the base of the mountain, thought maybe you should know there was an ambush here. At least gives us a semi-plausible reason to have followed him. And while we're up there, maybe poke around and see what he's doing. I would note that the trail from here to Som's Point is right on roughly the border of where the mist is, so it's unlikely we've seen the last of these creatures. It's probably going to become a problem again. So if this guy knows something, maybe it could help us.
Fine.
Put it up to a vote then. I don't know. I'm in favor of looking to track the guy, but if it starts to take more than an hour or two, we get back on the trail. I don't want to spend a whole day chasing him around in a circle.
Agreed.
I'll just look to Merlin.
I nod to Fire. We're going.
Okay, we're going.
Right. Let's go see what this guy's up to then. But try not to waste too much time.
What is
I guess
your...
we're heading north to track him.
Yeah, what is your approach to this? And by that I mean, and you can think outside of the box, but in general, are you following these tracks, I'm assuming? Are you moving stealthily? Are you moving quickly to try and catch up with them? Do you have any sort of specific things that you want to be doing? Let me know now, or I'm just going to assume you kind of walk normally.
I will suggest to Fire that we do the same thing as before. She moves ahead like 60, 70 feet ahead of us, and perhaps instead of on the trail, she'd be like on the rocks above it, perhaps. Like, get an elevation advantage where she can spy on the trail and just move quickly up there, while the rest of us follow it normally.
Yep, it's slightly elevated now as you you're on a hill and it becomes a little more mountainous as you progress. In that case, I guess everyone give me perception checks since you're going to be, I assume, quite hyper vigilant. Wow.
Merlin strikes again.
I am like a hound. I'm on the case.
Actually, can I turn to Merlin and tell him, I think that guy had food.
You get advantage.
This
picks
excites
up
me.
the scent of something strange, like squid, maybe. Fix 6, Will 9, Fire 2, but Merlin with the 21. It's very easy to follow the cart tracks all the way up to the point where I'm going to pause you again, as the terrain remains kind of muddied. It gets a little more mountainous. There's still a little forestry around towards the north here. Now that you're off of the beaten path, it's dark. There's really not a lot to follow other than these tracks, and they pretty much stick north. I think there's probably about 20 minutes of easy following before it starts to become a little bit more rocky. But there's no real mountain range until you get to the point that Merlin, you hear voices just speaking very casually ahead of you. Each of you approach the base of this mountain, and it's a lot more of a sheer rock face than it maybe looked from further back. While the mountain range kind of has lots of peaks that come up into these sort of pyramid cone shapes of mountains, the range in front of you and this south side of it is very sheer and overhanging in places. You get the sense that this is ahead of you. Again, it's very difficult to make these things out, but the ground underfoot becomes a lot more rocky. The incline sharpens a little bit, and there's a foreboding sense of a large sort of almost structure in front of you. As you come up to the actual base of the mountain, within 100 foot of it, Merlin, you suddenly pick up on a conversation. You can hear very, very distantly, as you guys are moving quietly, but still moving through this underbrush, following these tracks, you hear two people discussing something. You hear a distinct voice say,
"Why, that's a bastard, that is. Well, at least I stopped giving us headaches, eh?"
"Yes, well, it was rather unfortunate. I think I shall go and rest inside, if you're okay with looking after this thing."
"Oh, aye, do you think that's gonna come back, though? 'Cause I don't want to have to... You're saying that it was just a few of them in the town guard?"
"Yes, they took it out quite easily, so we should have no problem with our numbers."
"Alright, well, I'll sit here. Yeah, you go lie down."
"Okay, very well." You hear these people moving away. As Merlin, you pick up on these voices, and maybe Merlin waves at everyone to halt or pulls everyone back. Each of you, relevant to your numbers of perception, will pick up on a little bit of that conversation, with Fire hearing almost nothing. Just seeing everyone stop and suddenly perk their ears up. And then it falls silent. It's somewhere ahead of you, close enough that you can hear them, very with difficulty. Merlin again with an exceptional level of perception here. There is people ahead of you, presumably the cart owners.
That's definitely the guy. I remember his voice.
Did I hear the other voice?
You
Clearly.
would have heard two voices, yeah.
Would I recognize it as the person who dug the grave with me?
I don't think you know. I don't think you'd be able to tell necessarily whether it's the same voice or the same accent.
What do you want to do?
I have an amazing genius strategy.
Oh.
Hey! just walk forward.
That's what you do?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
And that's where we end today's session. That's a perfect place to end today's session, I think. That is
Oh my god.
100% where we're going to do that.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Hi.
That was the
we
last
lived.
thing I expected you to do.
Yeah. Perfect.
I'm playing a different kind of character now, Brad.
Yeah, it's all good. The whole thing was entirely missable as well, which is quite amazing that you you scored that. I mean, you could have also interrogated the dude, but
I tried.
interesting. Yeah, no, I know. Again, I told these guys on the break, but I was rolling death saves for him because I really want to do stuff like that. NPCs and monsters don't have death saves in 5e, but I mess with the rules in case you haven't worked that out in 3 weeks yet. I try not to mess with them too much so that it's like entirely broken, but for example, the
rule
half-orcs
breaker.
have some racial traits and stuff, and I wanted to give that guy death saves just because he was on the end of a sword, and it was just interesting to me that he would just die. You know, there's the option for him to die. That means that, you know, do you waste a potion to ensure that you can question him, and or do you deal with it? And he was just dying, while Merlin was also dying behind you, and it was an interesting thing. I don't know. That's what I do. I'm sorry messing with it, but yeah. Then you ended up following him. I'm curious about you guys out of character. The choice between, at first it was helping the people with the cart. Did I just lose Zoom?
Yep.
Oh. What? It's all good. It's going to come back any second. There it is. Yeah, the choice between helping the people with the car and looking for the car or continuing on mission, kinda. Like, I can see where your characters were going with it, but I'm super curious to hear what you guys think about that out of character.
You mean, like, are we wasting time, or...
Yeah, what would you do?
Well, I guess my thought here was, if they're traveling the same road, they might have seen something. But also, I thought it was interesting that Fix, like, completely misunderstood when I said we could use them as bait. What I meant was, like, follow them. So if the bandits jump these people, we counter.
No, I knew what you meant.
Well, then later on you're like, well, when these people get killed, it's gonna be on your soul. That's not. I didn't mean let them die. I meant we could use them as, a diversionary
They could
tactic.
be lateral and fix
Yeah.
things that's unacceptable. So
Yeah. Would Will be willing to risk them?
Will is inherently geared towards. I mean, you saw the Grell fight. No hesitation. There's people in danger. There's a monster. Get between them. And that part of his personality is probably never going to change. But he's also pragmatic, and he's got military experience and understands, like, sometimes it might be better to let the enemy look at the civilians first and then stab them, as opposed to marching down the street yelling out loud. Which, ironically, I just did at the end. But these aren't the bad guys. In my mind, these aren't the bad guys. These are some passerby or a doctor or whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna approach it like that.
Well, we'll find out next time what they are. Good sesh though. I mean, you survived. That's the thing. All of the anxiety of the week up to the fight, you survived pretty well. You dealt with it. You know, it was a little hairy for Merlin at the end.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, ironically, they didn't want to kill Merlin, but
Yeah.
it was the death throes of a wild half-orc bandit. Yeah, 2 health pots down, but 3 invisibility potions up. That's not bad, I guess. We'll find out what comes of your strategy of just walking up and saying hi. I have an offline character called Tuleva who does that as well, by the way, but he's a fearbold cleric and he's extremely old and friendly and just assumes people won't immediately try and kill him, and that's why he does that, whereas that's an interesting choice for Will to make. And we'll see what happens and comes of it next time. We'll do a quick round of shout-outs in a minute, but I just wanted to mention the fan art that we got in our Discord channel. I'm going to pull it up on the screen because it was so good.
I'm going to cry.
Oh, man. So in the first, after the first session, Nami drew pics for us and put it into our Table Story Discord in the fan art section with the salami on the right there. And then Aniqua, who's an old friend of mine from London, she has drawn Fire and Merlin from last week, I think that was. And yeah, if you want to go and look at them, they're in the Table Story Discord on the fan art section. There's also a couple of cool things in there. Aaron Black, famed author, also did a sort of a scene. He played out and did a scene for us and recorded it. And it's kind of a Mistlight inspired thing that was really interesting to listen to and quite scary, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
The concept of that, I don't want to spoil it, but it was pretty scary. So it's really cool that the people are getting involved. So thank you to the people doing that. Other people involved are people who put in for the giveaway that we're doing. Thanks to Wizards of the Coast, who are giving away a copy of Candlekeep Mysteries this week and another one to give away next week. We'll do this again next week. We have the winner. Drum roll, please, Brian.
I don't have my thing, or I would.
That's good enough. The winner is Chickadee. Chicadee. You know who that is?
I think so.
I do.
Oh, okay, good. Just check, because you could be a bot, you know.
Congrats, Chickadee.
Congrats, Chickadee.
She's been one of my longtime viewers.
Well done. Nice. So, you have won a hard copy of the Candlekeep Mysteries, courtesy of Wizards of the Coast. And if you can keep an eye on your email, Chickadee, the one that you provided us over the next few days, we will give you all the details how to claim the thing and send it to you and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, is it Black Cap Chickadee? Is that who I'm thinking?
Oh, is it Black Cat Chickadee?
That's what I'm wondering. I don't know.
Is that who it is? Because, yeah, I know who that is as well. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
All I've
but
got is Chickadee written down. We'll work it out.
It's an actual bird.
We got your email, so keep an eye on your email. There's like 50 people with Chickadee in their name, like sitting there on their email
cool.
now for the next week. So, yeah, that's awesome. If that is Black Cap Chickadee, I know who that is as well, so that's awesome. And if it's not, all good. To the other 50 Chickadees that we have to now buy a copy of this for.
Oh, it's just Chickadee. We're assholes.
Yeah, I think it's just Chickadee, yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool that there was even a giveaway, though. I don't know why it makes me so happy.
Yeah, me too.
It blows my mind. Oh.
It's crazy, yeah. It's crazy that Wizards
So
even
cool.
see this channel, you know.
Yeah.
It used
So
to just
good.
be me and Fairlight arguing over death saving throws.
Well, to be
Why
fair,
did
now
we
you
call
would
them?
do
Did I
that.
argue?
I don't know. You were on the first 2 shows that were ever on the channel, Fairlight, when you think about it. But the first 2 shows that ever came up on this channel, Ascendance and Dustfell, you were in them both. So thanks, well done. I don't know what that means, but there you
Table
go.
Story crew.
Yeah,
Mhm.
back in the day.
And then I vanished for 3 years.
And then we got
now
rid
we're
of you.
back.
Yeah, we promised to never bring you back. All right, let's do a quick round of shout outs for you guys. Killing it every week. Thank you so much, by the way, you four, for just fucking obliterating this every week. It's so
Thanks
cool
for
to
letting
just
us
see
be
you
here.
make choices. I'm trying not to dangle too much of like a carrot in front of you to see what, because I feel like you are all so capable of making it up. And again, like I've said this to you before, and a lot of people I think don't believe me as a DM when I'm like, I'll do what you want and go where you want, and I will lay the tracks out in front of the train as you're going if I need to. But yeah, this was kind of missable, and I'm interested to see how you deal with this and what you were going to do. And yeah, I love watching it. I love being able to just get off the screen and just watch you guys in character make real decisions. And like there was so much friction today as well. I was like,
Yeah.
because I'm sat here, like they can see me on Zoom sometimes, and I'm like usually just setting something up, and then one of them will say something, I'm like, oh, skip. But I'm off the screen on this. But it's really interesting to watch. I love it. The spikes.
It's so edgy. I turn around and I'm like, hey, fire, and I cut myself, and I'm like, hey,
yeah.
Fix, I cut myself on the edge.
Yeah.
I'm like, Merlin.
I know. I think Will and Merlin are gonna be best pals.
Fix had the Fix still had the armor of Agathis up, so it was just like sharp ice every time you tried to interact with them.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, let's do a quick round of shout outs for where you guys can go and see these guys throughout the week. Let's start with Merlin, because otherwise Disby's gonna fall asleep.
Oh my god.
I don't want you to miss your own shout out, because I know you've been awake for 73 hours.
Hi, I'm DisbyRx. I played Merlin for you today. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at the same handle. I've been doing a lot of roleplay on GTA. Yeah, I have so much fun here. I have so much fun here, and I am so honored to be a part of an amazing cast here. Thank you seriously so much, everybody. It's been a blast.
Yes, the well needed. I love how you're like the most the comic relief a lot of the time, and then so much stuff hinges
I just like
on
being
you.
goofy.
Like death twice, and then you're the one that spotted the thing, the bear, like this minimum cart in the distance and stuff. Very
I know,
fun.
where were those roles when I needed them?
I don't know. Well, I mean, you're on this track now, so I guess
True. I'm looking forward to the lore behind it.
we'll see. We'll see. What about you, Brian?
Oh, I'm Brutal Bree, and I played Fire the Edgy Asshole for you today. And I'm very excited to do the freaking Mistlight After Dusk tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern, where I just scream at chat for an hour minimum about all my theories and whether or not they come true. And I literally had like stress nightmares last night about this episode. It was horrific. And then I panicked and got ready way too early, so I was just sitting at my computer like, oh my god, what if this happens? What if Merlin dies? And then, well, we saw what happened, but
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
no,
really
it wasn't. It wasn't
kind
as
of
bad as I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know either.
Yeah.
You know how, because it's rough. It was by the way, I know it was rough. Now that we're out of it and I'm not keeping DM stumm, like I'd set this up like this is gonna be rough.
Yeah,
But you know,
scary.
they have a Fairlight.
Yeah.
And that's the segue into where can people find you, Fairlight, and what are you doing the week?
First of all, before I get into that, Brad, I took my laptop into my bedroom and I hooked it up to a projector with our Roll20 aimed at the ceiling over my bed. So every night as I go to sleep, I'm looking at this encounter for the past week straight. And I am doing the Doctor Strange thing where I'm looking at the 14 million outcomes. I'm like, we're not dying in the third episode. But it worked out. It worked out. And there was really good moves in there from the whole party. I think everybody's picking it up pretty quick. Anyway, you guys can find me over at twitch.tv/Fairlight_Excalibur. You can also find me on Twitter and YouTube under FairlightEX. Right now working my way through Pathfinder Kingmaker. So even more of the same stuff you see here. Live on Twitch every night. US times.
US times. Yeah, it is. What time is it for you now? 2 in the afternoon?
It is 4 p.m. here, and I usually start streaming around 8 p.m. Pacific. But I'm in the no schedule club, so
Yeah,
that's kind of like your general, sometime around there.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that. If I go live at any time other than my time, no one cares. Leah.
I love the moment of panic when Merlin was about to cast the fog on the orcs, and we were like, oh no,
God.
don't do that! Oh god!
Yeah.
No, that was beautiful. I've been playing Fix for you today, the very straight-laced tiefling so far. But yeah, it's an absolute privilege to be involved in this. I'm going to be honest. I look forward to it every single week. It's really exciting and terrifying, and I'm always really anxious. But you can find me nervously and very excitedly streaming 5 days a week on my Twitch, twitch.tv/Leah. We just started Outriders today, so we'll be playing that for a few more days at least. But yeah, very different to Fix. I'm very like excited all the time. So
People come into the chat and you're like, why are you even here?
Thanks for the sub.
Thanks for the sub. Now, fuck up. Yeah, so make sure you go and find these people and question them and give them Twitch primes and things and stuff. Make sure you backseat game Fairlight because he really needs it. And accuse him of
Make sure
gaming.
you check out Brad Wodo too, guys.
Oh, you can't. Deleted my
Yes.
channel. Deleted
No,
it.
Well-
he didn't. He's lying.
I also stream on a channel. I've been playing RimWorld actually, and somehow it's going really well, which is very strange because we had it on Randy Random, and I don't understand what's going on with it. But I'm gonna complete it the first time ever in my life. He says with
Yep.
full
I'm so
belief
nervous.
that I'm gonna be able to do that. All right. We'll be back next week. Make sure you check out all of the other shows that we've got during the week. We've got Rime of the Frost Maiden tomorrow night with Wax Steven, who is... we actually have the privilege of having the oldest person on the planet DMing Rime of the Frost Maiden for us. Wax Steven is over 9,000 years old. And we'll be back next week at the same time. Congrats, Chickadee. And only Chickadee. And if your name is any other version of Chickadee, you get nothing. All right?
Ever.
Nothing. And we'll
And
see you
leave.
next week. Yes. And don't forget to go over to Brian's channel, Brutal Breed, tomorrow night for the After Dusk channel, which is just a... It is just a splooge of theories.
I just
people
scream and then chat
freaking
screams.
out.
We just scream back and forth.
It's people screaming at each other, and then they're just like, it must be a Tarask. And then it's 3 bandits on the road. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Peace.